Welcome to the Regenerative Agriculture, Thriving as a Modern Rancher, the podcast for ranchers and land stewards looking to build healthy land, profitable businesses, and a fulfilling life. Join us as we explore regenerative practices and holistic management to help you thrive in today's ranching world. Are you spending your time, energy, or money fixing the same problem over and over and over? It may be you're buying hay every winter, or you're spraying weeds every year, spending money on supporting high-maintenance livestock. These are just some of the signs of something deeper, and chasing them can become really costly. In this episode, we're exploring how to move from reacting to planning by identifying the real constraint in your operation, your financial weak link. I'll share a personal example on this. Cattle were the last livestock that I brought onto the ranch because honestly, I was scared of them. While I lived in Brazil as a young girl, I saw the large Brahman cattle jump over 8-foot fences and tear up fencing. But recognizing that I needed to have the trampling effect of the cattle on my land, I brought in Dexters because they were smaller frame and they were also multi-purpose breed. Originally, I had thought that I would milk them because they are A2 protein, but it ended up I had more projects than I could handle. As a grass-fed and grass-finished producer selling direct to consumer, my customers loved the product and demand was growing. I realized I needed to increase both my production and availability. So I brought in more animals, thinking that that would help me keep up. But I quickly ran into a problem. The Dexters were taking 26 to 28 months to finish on grass. Not only that, their meat yield at the processing was significantly lower than what my grass finishing colleagues were getting with other breeds. That's when I realized the problem wasn't my marketing or my management. It was the product itself. I had a financial weak link. And when I shifted to a breed that finished faster and gave me more usable meat, everything changed. I was able to lower my costs, optimize my forage carrying capacity, be better able to meet customer demand, with better margins and less stress. So a financial weak link is a point in your system where effort, money, or time is leaking, or where it's most constrained. Think of the old adage, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. We want to find that weak link to make the chain strong. This is not just a symptom, and it's not always the root cause. The financial weak link is the bottleneck, the point of greatest constraint that limits your ability to get a return on your time, on the money, and the energy you're putting into your operation. If you don't identify that constraint, you end up reacting, investing in things that don't actually strengthen your business or improve your land. But when we relieve the pressure at the weak link, the whole chain gets stronger and you get more return on your investment. The holistic management framework, where the financial weak link is addressed, isn't about adding complexity. It's about giving you clarity. Tools like the financial weak link exist to help you focus where it actually counts. Let me share a few examples of common mistakes that I fell into, as well as the clients that I work with fall into. The first one is feeding hay every winter. This is the most common and costly practices I see among land stewards. And while it's often treated as this is just what we do, it can actually signal a financial weak link in your operation. The real constraint usually isn't the weather or the size of your land. It's your ability to grow and manage enough forage through proper grazing recovery during the growing season. But instead of addressing that constraint, many folks respond by buying hay year after year after year. And that comes with serious costs. Not only are you having to pay for the hay itself, and when it's in drought period, then it's going to be even more expensive. The equipment to move it and feed it, the fuel, labor, and time it takes to do all of this movement, and often it's a hit to profitability during already lean months. If you step back and ask what's actually limiting my ability to feed my animals from my land, you may find the weak link isn't forage availability, but recovery time. And that's something you can influence. With better grazing planning, improved rest periods, and more strategic use of stockpile. Feeding hay may look like a solution, but if it's not addressing the real weak link, you're just spending money to stay stuck. Spraying weeds is one of the most common mistakes I see. I get it. It makes total sense. When weeds show up, they look like a problem, but they're actually a symptom to a deeper issue. Weeds like goatweed or ragweed often grow where soil is bare, compacted, or imbalanced. When we focus on killing them, we're spending energy on the symptom instead of identifying the real constraint, usually something like poor ground cover, disturbance, or lack of plant diversity. And let's talk about the cost. Between buying the sprayer, keeping it maintained, purchasing the chemicals, investing your time, spraying quickly becomes a recurring expense. But if the financial weak link in your business is actually conversion, how well you turn sunlight into money through forage, then spraying weeds doesn't relieve that constraint. In fact, it may weaken it further by damaging the very biology you're trying to regenerate. A better use of that capital might be applying litter through animal impact, or improving rest and recovery in your grazing, or boosting biodiversity with the multi-species approach. When you address the weak link, you're strengthening the whole chain, so your time and money actually move you forward. Another good example is the classic buying a tractor scenario. Because everybody thinks a ranch or farm needs a tractor, it's easy to go out and purchase one without fully assessing whether it's truly a need or just a want. People often don't consider how long they'll actually use it, the ongoing maintenance costs, or whether they have the time or labor to use it efficiently. In many cases, renting a tractor or hiring a neighbor to do the job would be more cost-effective. And more importantly, that capital could have been used in a more optimal way to relieve a true constraint, improve cash flow, or support an actual weak link in the business. That's why identifying your financial weak link matters. It helps you direct your resources where they'll actually move the needle, instead of where tradition or assumptions say you should spend them. It's not that any of these examples I shared are wrong. It's that they're often not aligned with what's really holding your system back. We're not making poor decisions because we don't care. We're doing the best we can with the information we have. But when we start identifying the true point of constraint, that weakest link in the chain, everything becomes more effective, more regenerative, and more profitable. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start managing with purpose, I'd love to invite you to my free 3-day masterclass, Why You're Not Thriving Yet, a masterclass to help you stop spinning your wheels and start managing with purpose, happening April 16th through the 18th. During the masterclass, you will learn why regenerative efforts often fall short, how to think in wholes instead of parts, what a weak link really is and how to recognize yours, and then finally why grazing isn't just about grass, it's about the outcomes. A link to the masterclass will be in the show notes. The cost of fixing the wrong thing isn't just money. It's time, energy, and sometimes even your connection to the land. It's frustrating to work so hard and still feel like you're not getting ahead. But when you pause, look at the whole, and identify the real constraint, your weak link, your decisions start bringing relief and not more pressure. That's when you begin to thrive, not just as a land steward, but as a whole human, aligned with your land, your goals, and your values. Thanks for tuning into Regenerative Agriculture, Thriving as a Modern Rancher. Keep thriving, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to Regenerative Agriculture, Thriving as a Modern Rancher. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share with fellow ranchers, and leave a review. Together we can regenerate our lands, our profits, and our lives. Until next time, keep thriving.